Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, if you could be so kind as to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or at least no, notice, at least notice where the subscribe button ends. So hopefully, by the end of this conversation, if you feel inclined to, you are able to hit the subscribe button. Tonight's topic, welcome to Nurturing Conversations, the Nurturing Conversations podcast. Tonight's topic is the gift of goodbye. Um, I'm going to go ahead and give my disclaimers, and then I'm going to actually first make sure that y'all can hear me. Well, I'm not just. Oh, y'all can hear me. Okay. Tonight's topic is the gift of goodbye. I'm going to give my disclaimers, and then we're going to hop right into this conversation because I feel like given all of the things that are happening like on social media, in life, in the world, we really need to understand how important it is to say goodbye, to let things go, to understand self, to understand self-love, to understand self-acceptance, saying goodbye to insecurity, saying goodbye to fear of being alone. It's a lot of it. Anyways, I got my hood on because it's like 14, 15 degrees here. So, my heat is on. I do have a blanket. Sorry, y'all. One day I will relocate to a warmer place. One day. One day. My disclaimers. I do not tolerate disrespect. That is in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That is towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. I feel like we have survived everything. You are here, you're listening to me, you're watching me. You have survived shit that the normal person probably would have gave up a long time ago. So if you have survived a global fucking pandemic, monkeypox, Ebola, any fucking thing that has happened in the last 2 years, and you come here and decide you want to be negative, this is not the space for you. And I would like to encourage you to go somewhere else with that bullshit. There will be fear, there will be tears, there will be curse words. My opinions are my opinions, your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a healthy conversation about whatever it is. I feel like we are adults, or I hope that you're an adult, or you have a mature thought process where you are able to understand something from another person's point of view. My words, my sayings are not law. I'm just here to share my personal experiences. I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. I know a lot of people act like they never been through shit, ain't never had to let go of shit. But listen, I'm somebody that been through shit, has to let go a lot of shit, and I'm gonna tell you, you you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. I am a living, breathing testament to that. You can. Um, had to make sure I said I'm not a mental health professional. Talked about my opinions. Okay, that's all my disclaimers. We're gonna hop right into it. We're talking about the gift of goodbye. A lot of these topics come from my personal things I experienced in life, or things I just like, you just sitting there and be like, damn, the gift of goodbye. Or damn, like, it's so hard to say goodbye. Like, that's a real thing, right? So when I say the gift of the goodbye, I don't just mean relationships. I mean like feelings, emotions. I mean like pretty much everything. Um, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it or not, but I've seen it multiple times on multiple different platforms. And it kind of like did something to me. The case of the young lady who went to Cabo and was unalived. That is so many different cases. And I began to think as this week, I purposely, in my life, I said I want to be light, love, and positivity. So in my life, I do everything, every minute of the day, second, hour. I only want to put out light, love, and positivity. And I'm talking today because I want us to be able to find it within ourselves. I want to appeal to your humanity, right? I want you to be able to find it within yourself to say, If I do not like this situation I am in, if I am uncomfortable with the situation I am in, if I do not feel loved, if I do not feel supported, if I do whatever, insert word here, I want you to find the courage to leave. Find the courage to leave. If you feel that people are around you for an ulterior motive, I want you to follow that and leave. I want you by the end of this conversation to be so assured of yourself, to be so in love with yourself where you don't tolerate bullshit from anybody. You have the strength and the courage and the wisdom. Goodbye. I had to tell emotions goodbye. I whew, I had to literally let go of a lot of things. I started a journey of healing and self discovery 2 years ago. And on this journey, I have come to understand life on a whole nother level. I'm figuring this out while I'm saying it, but I'm figuring it out while I'm saying it because I never even thought to put that in words. But I'm figuring out life on a whole nother level. Um, I've been able to understand understand situations that happen in my life. I've been able to understand my parents. I've been able to understand other people's situations. And that's why this week I wanted to, or I was drinking, or I still am drinking empathy, is because I never want to lose the human side of me. I never want to lose the side where I can look at somebody and just be cold hearted and not give a fuck. I never want to have that. I never want to have that. I've never. I know previously in my life, I've prayed to be cold hearted, and that's because, you know, things happen to you. Um, sorry, y'all. Hmm, okay, sorry, y'all. I had to block somebody. That's wild. 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 Um, that's why I'm gonna turn it off. Sorry. Um, goodbye. Goodbye. Get, so I feel like we haven't been encouraged to say goodbye. Like even when we leave people, we be like bye or goodbye, but we don't really let things go, or we really don't leave things. Um, even when I should probably give this disclaimer also. I'm going to talk from my personal experience and my perspective, right? So when I started to think about on this journey, as I started to think about my childhood, my young adulthood, my early adulthood, all the way up until now, um, I struggled with saying goodbye. I struggled with letting things go, and um, I want to say I paid for that. I paid for holding on beyond the time in which I was supposed to let go. Um, being in situations longer than I knew I was supposed to leave, but I just didn't know how. Um, and it took me going through a lot. And I'm going to say it took me having a major level 1 trauma surgery for me to realize how much um, pain I was inflicting on myself, how much trauma, how much turmoil I was causing myself by holding on to things. You ever been in a situation where you have a falling out with somebody, and then they move on about their life? You see them, they living a good life, they laugh and they look like they happy, everything is good, and you still holding on to that, like whatever it was, an argument, a disagreement, whatever it was, you still holding on to it now. First it was just like, oh, you was a little angry. Now it done festered in there for so long. Now it's a little bitterness, and then it becomes hatred, and then it becomes levels. It takes on different shapes and forms. And I said to myself, I don't want to do that anymore. I carry stuff with me since I was 8. I was carrying around things that happened to me since I was 8. Y'all could do the math on how I'm 42 now, so y'all could do the math on how long I've been carrying around. So when Erica Badu wrote a song about Bag Lady, I totally got it. Totally got it. I totally understood every metaphor of the bag she was saying. I totally got it. And that's when I decided that it's important for me to understand the importance of goodbye. Sometimes um we allow our emotions to keep us entangled in things that we know. I will usually be like, oh, people don't know, but we know. We know what's good for us. We know what we should do. We know what we shouldn't do. We know when we should walk away from situations. But here's what happens. We put ourselves in those other shoes, right? And we say, how would I feel if somebody left me at one of the hardest times in my life? Or how would I feel if somebody left me? Or if somebody would have said goodbye to me when I was. And right there is when we should say, that's not me. Now, by me saying that, I'm not saying don't feel empathy towards other people. No, can you wait? Can you go back in there? Go back in there. Go back in there, please. I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry. Uh, now I lost my train of thought. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's all I got right now is goodbye. You know, you have moments where you just like, you set boundaries, you try to give people the benefit of the doubt. We really be wanting people to win. Like, we want people to win so bad. We will sacrifice our own happiness, sacrifice everything within us just so that the people can win. And it seems like they just won't wake up. They won't wake up and realize, like, hey, I have a good thing going right here. I should probably go with this good thing. Or, hey, I have a great opportunity. I should probably take advantage of this great opportunity. They won't. I used to be like, yeah, one day people will get it, but then I realized something about human beings, right? When they are used to doing something a certain way, they don't want to change. They don't want to change. They don't want to say goodbye to their old habits because that has served them to get them to the place where they are now. Where I said, I think it was yesterday for my daily motivation. I think it was yesterday, and it says, "Teach the next generation." I was thinking about it, right? I said my grandmother never got married. My mother never got married. Although I did get married, I didn't know. I mean, of course, I watch TV and watch shows or movies or whatever like that, but I have never seen a successful marriage, and I don't mean like people who have houses and cars and shit like that, because I know a lot of people who got houses and cars and like money and all that shit, but I've never seen a marriage where or even a relationship for that matter, where people actually stuck together because they really loved each other and they came through the hardships and was just like, yeah, we just gonna do this. It's gonna be us against the world. You know, people say that. You ever been in a relationship? You be like, oh, it's just me and you against the world, and you all excited like, yeah, it's just me and you against the world. And then shit get hard, and then they cheat on you, or they do whatever. They break up with you, and then it's just like, why do I keep allowing this shit to happen in my life? I think it's time now for me to say goodbye. Say goodbye to the old me. Say goodbye to the nonchalant me. Say goodbye to the me that is afraid of rejection. Say goodbye to the me that is afraid um, to hurt people's feelings. Sometimes people's feelings need to get hurt. They deserve to have their feelings hurt, especially at the point where you do not take into consideration another person's feelings. You definitely need to get your feelings hurt. If you know that you are in a relationship where the person that you're in a relationship with is loving and they caring and they make sure you have everything that you need, there's a safe space, you deserve what happens to you. I back to the Cabo situation, right? At first I was just like, that's a really sad situation. But then when I started listening to what the parents were saying and the way I sorry, I'm working through my emotions right here because this made me feel some kind of way, right? I thought to myself, I said, how many times have you called someone your friend? And how many times have you went out of town with people? How many times have you went to just a party with somebody, a party at someone's house? How many times have you went with someone somewhere and didn't feel safe but still stayed in that environment? One moment, y'all. I wanted to see if this works anyways. One moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I was trying to make sure the kids got situated before I went on live, but that didn't seem to work out how I had planned it. So sorry. Um, been there for each other. Y'all really haven't. Y'all really haven't. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but y'all really haven't been here for each other. Y'all just like to call each other's friends because y'all known each other for a long time. Goodbye. I was thinking, I said, had I not told fear goodbye, I probably would not be sitting in the space in which I am sitting right now. I probably would have never started this podcast because I would still be sitting there like, oh, this is a good idea. Like when I'm going to show y'all one day. I could show y'all right now. I have podcast like topics, like for, I could talk. I don't know if y'all can see that, but those are all the podcast topics I have, and it's more than 100 different topics that I have. But I'm sitting around twiddling my fingers. I'm watching podcasts. I'm watching podcasts. Mind you, I have a whole nother audio podcast that's actually nominated for an award. So I'm just sitting here like, I'm gonna do it one day. And I kept saying one day, one day, one day. And then all of a sudden it was like, if I don't start this damn podcast, if I don't stop saying one day and actually start this podcast, I will be sitting here 2, 3 years from now wishing I would have started, or even worse, if you see somebody else do the exact same thing that you wanted to do, and then you sitting there like, man, I know I should do it, but I looked myself, literally, I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, it's time to tell fear goodbye. Goodbye. The other day, I've been saying, if you follow me on here, I've been saying on Saturday nights I do karaoke, and I've been saying I wanted to do karaoke on other social platforms, right? And I kept coming up with all these excuses as to why I couldn't do social karaoke on the other platforms. And then this past week, I sat down and I said, no more excuses. There's no more excuses as to why, because I really sat and looked. So this past week, Wednesday. So Wednesdays, I do karaoke on Twitch. And I was trying to figure out how come I have all this equipment brand new, updated everything, and it wouldn't work. And so I got a little frustrated. And so after I got a little frustrated, I sat there and I was like, why am I so frustrated? And it was like, because this is something I really want to do. This is something I find joy. I take pleasure in. I find joy in. It makes me happy. So I meditated for a minute, and all I did was access this platform from my browser rather than the app. And it worked just like that. So I was like, Wednesday I'm going to go Twitch. Thursday I'm going to do TikTok, right? So a couple of weeks that went past, and I was like, yeah, you be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go back to college. I'm gonna start that business when I get some money. We give ourselves all these excuses. We are saying goodbye to excuses today. Goodbye to excuses. So this past Thursday, I set my phone up and I put all the information to Thursday night vibes karaoke, come hang out and sing. And I literally stared at that phone for like 5 minutes. And then I was like, oh, let me find out somebody that could come and like be my moderator. Cause y'all just saw it if you was here from the beginning. People do weird shit. So I was like, let me find somebody. And then I was like, I was like, if I keep doing like it's 11 o'clock at night, if I'm waiting for somebody, everybody sleep. And then I was just like, forget it. So I looked at that screen and I was like, the only way I'm going to do this is if I look fear in the face, press this live button, and just sing. That's all I had to do. So I said, everything that I want is on the other side of the fear. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I say to myself. Anytime I realize like I'm afraid of something, I say, everything I want is on the other side of fear. And the only way I can get to the other side of fear is to go through it. So I hit that live button, and on my, in the description, they're like, well, what is it? Like, what's your goal? And I was like, I just want 100 likes. If I could just get 100 likes, I would be cool. I sung my first song. I was literally, when I tell y'all I was shaking so, like, you couldn't see because my arm was down here, but I was shaking. My hands were shaking. I was like, I don't even know what it was because I do karaoke here on Saturdays. But I was shaking so bad. And by the third song, I had already accomplished my goal of 100 likes. By the fifth song, I was already up, and then I was like, I was more calm, and I was like, you know what? I realized about myself is I fear success. I had a fear. There we go. I had a fear of success. So I had to tell fear goodbye. So y'all hear me talking about a fear of success, right? So I told fear goodbye. So this week's drink is success. I want it. I don't care if I have to meditate each time before I cross over into it. Fear, goodbye. It's a no for me. It's a no. I've been held back from too many wonderful opportunities because of fear. Legitimate fear. I don't even know if fear could be legitimate, but real life things like, but it was just me. And now I'm in a place where it's like, no, I'm coming for everything. Everything. I'm coming for it. Goodbye, fear. I said when I first started this podcast, I was like, I don't have the flowery words, and I don't talk, and I'm not all that. I do have that, but I don't want that to be. I don't want this podcast to be that. I want this podcast to be like real, down to earth, transparent. I want it to be like a real life conversation, a conversation you will have with your best friend, your boo, your grandma conversations. I don't know if y'all ever had them, but them grandma conversations be the best. Whew, what I wouldn't give it to be able to talk to my grandma right now. But I want it to be like that. I want it to be a safe space where people feel like we can come here and we could talk about anything. That's what I want this to be. That's what it will be. That's what it's turning into. There we go. But yeah, I had to tell myself goodbye. You only afraid because why? Why are you afraid? That's when I realized that I have to start asking myself the tough questions. You have to ask yourself the tough questions, especially if you know no one else is going to ask you. Ask yourself the tough questions. Why do you wake up every day and go to a job that you know you hate? Why do you hate the job but you still go? You get up every morning faithfully. Every week you go and complain about that job every day. Goodbye. Did you just tell them until they got job goodbye? Yes, I did. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, you have entrepreneurial aspirations, and you like, well, I just need to get this money so that I can go ahead and start this business, or I need to get this, or I need to have that. I be listening to people, like people come to me and they be like, Chelle, I want to start a YouTube, or I need to get these lights, I need to get this camera, I need to get all this. And I was like, listen. I know I got lights and all that stuff. I still don't got I got GoPros. But the only thing I use for my YouTube is right here. That's it. I went to Walmart and got a little vlogger kit for $40. And it came with a little tripod and a little light. A little light I could put on top of the tripod to do my video things, but I don't even use that no more. I just use my phone because I realized, let me tell you what I realized. I don't know if you realize it, but let me tell you what I realized. I realized that if I don't start it when I think about it, I be done put it on the shelf. It'll already be on the shelf. And then something to happen or something to trigger it, be like, oh yeah, I remember I did want to do that. So I was like, no. I said, when I got this new phone, I had an iPhone 8 Plus when the iPhone 8 Plus originally came out. And I was like, I'll get back to doing YouTube videos and I'll do reels and I'll do all these different things if I get a new phone. If I get a new phone, if it has the camera I want, if I get the phone that I want with the camera and I get the software, and it was like, oh, that's what you're going to do? So if we give you this is what you're going to do. And I was like, yes. And what happened? I got the phone and the software, and y'all been seeing me making videos. I've been doing it, but I'm about to ramp it up on a whole nother level because this is what I realized, right? I realized when you holding on to something, and I felt like, I don't know if this is how you feel, but I'll tell you how I felt. I felt empowered in a sense by holding on to the traumas of my past. I felt empowered. It gave me that well, one day I'll be able to do this. I was comfortable in walking around knowing that one day I would be able to be successful. I was comfortable in that. I was comfortable in that. I knew oh, I could wake up in the morning, I could score documentaries, I could do all of these things. I can, right? I was comfortable in knowing that I could do it. But the fear of actually doing it was stopping me from actually doing it. And then like I said, it took me having a major level 1 trauma surgery for me to realize I am the only reason that I am not where I want to be. It's not because no one gave me a leg up. It's not because it wasn't because I didn't overcome the shit that happened to me in my life. It was just me. So that's when I began a journey of healing and self-discovery. And I began to say, you know what? Let me rid myself. I literally went all the way back to the start. I said, take me all the way back. Actually, I didn't say take me all the way back. I just said, you have experiences in life. And you're like, okay, I think if I could let this experience go, I was picking and choosing which experiences I wanted to let go because I felt like that's what I needed to let go in order to be, where I want to be. And in life, God, Buddha, Allah, whichever deity you serve was like, no. We're going to start you at the beginning. And at the beginning is how I realized that I felt some kind of way because I felt like all of my life, I really didn't know what it was until it was like, you felt abandoned by your parents. And I was just sitting there I don't know if this happens for you, but when reality hits me, the light bulb goes off. When a light bulb goes off, it was like, holy shit. So I can see once you see, okay, I felt abandoned by my parents. What does that mean? It was I felt rejection. I felt like I wasn't good enough for the two people who brought me in this world to love me enough to love me. And I said to myself, I can literally see how every the majority of the situations in my life, I got into them because I wanted to be loved, because I wanted to be appreciated, because I wanted someone to look at me and tell me how valuable I was. That's what I wanted. That's what I was seeking for my whole entire life. I said way back in the beginning of this year, I said I realized one person, it was only one person, it's one person. I feel like for me, I feel like this could be the case for a lot of other people too, but the one person I wanted to love me the most was me. But in order for me to get there, I had to tell experiences, I had to tell emotions, I had to tell feelings goodbye, and I had to get to the root of those things to understand. Can you get out, please? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. One moment. One moment. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh boy. Um, I'm sorry. Okay, so I had to tell my past. I had to tell my past goodbye. I had to tell my insecurities goodbye. That's not to say that I'm not insecure. I do have sometimes I do have some insecurities. Especially when I was singing on karaoke, I was like, ooh, um, here's a big insecurity. And I'm saying this because I am currently processing through this insecurity. So previously, when I wasn't singing, I had the ability to hit high notes, right? But then earlier this year, as recent as September, I had vocal polyps on my vocal cords, and it changed my vocal cords. So I don't have I don't want to say that. I am working on regaining the ability to hit higher notes. So when I got ready to hit higher notes, there's that thing. I don't know if you're a singer, but if you're not a singer, there's this thing that happens when you get ready to hit that high note and your body or your vocal cords or, or your voice isn't confident in hitting that. So you try to slide it down instead of going up. It's a whole mental thing for me. I'm sorry. I'm just introduced y'all to that. But I felt like I needed to just say, listen, this is what happened. Here's the reality. This is what happened to you, and because this has happened to you, you're not able to do what you previously could do, but you'll get back there. And as I began to sing the songs, I just figured out how to sing it. I didn't like, well, I can't do this because I can't hit them high notes anymore. I know how to transpose it down to a note where I can sing, right? I begin to tell excuses goodbye. Goodbye. I said I wanted to schedule out or batch content and schedule out content, and I will find myself being like I will record the videos and I will be backed up editing them and uploading them. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? So I don't know if y'all saw this week. I was caught up. I was caught up. It came out on time. If it didn't come out at in the morning time, it came out on the day it was supposed to come out. I had to tell procrastination goodbye. But you know what I realized in this whole process? I realized that um, the experiences in my life, I feel a rush when it's like that last minute. Like in school, I would have an essay that's due like at 5 o'clock, and it's 5 o'clock night class or whatever, right? And I'll wait till like 4:45 to write the essay. I'm really good at writing. I'm really good at words. I'm really good at that. So the pressure of it being crunch time for me was just like, oh yes, it's like that adrenaline. It was like my Red Bull. So then I do it, and then I'll get my grade back, and it'll be like successful, and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's cool. But if I had to do it before the time, it seemed like I would drag my feet until the exact time. So I said this week I'm going to batch some I'm gonna batch my content. I already got the videos. I already got the juice. I'm drinking. I'm starting tonight. So this week you're gonna see planned, scheduled uploads. That's what I'm working for. I can't say that I want to be better. I want to be light, love, and positivity, and I drag my feet with it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say one thing and do another. So I'm telling excuses goodbye. Goodbye excuses. Goodbye fear. Goodbye insecurities. And I think the people, when we be like, I don't want people to judge us. I don't think that. I'm not gonna say I don't think that. I'm gonna say sometimes I feel like we judge ourselves harder than anyone else could ever judge us. We do. I was judging myself so hard about these YouTube videos, but then as I'm judging myself about the YouTube videos and the content of these YouTube videos, you many of you are sending me inboxes or DMs or even messaging me, or coming to my different lives and telling me um how much I've assisted you, or how much I'm inspiring to you. And for me, I don't know if you guys know, but I'll tell you right now, those messages, the the inspirational messages, the hey, are you doing guided meditations? And so, just if you're wondering, yes, I am doing guided meditations. I'm gonna start sharing those in December. Um, just encouraging me to push on, to continue on, to continue to be who I am. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. I had to tell, I talked a lot about emotions and saying goodbye, but I had to say goodbye to people who I love dearly. And it's not like I will never see them again, because, of course, you know, they're around. I'm going to see them again. But it's just, for me, I had to say goodbye. I, earlier this year when I had the surgery, I had to focus on me, and I'm going to tell you that was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my entire life. And I've done a lot of shit in my life, but focusing on myself. And I know as I'm saying it right now, it sounds so crazy to say, because typically you would focus on yourself, right? But focusing on myself was one of the hardest things that I had to do. And I literally, when I say, would try to find ways that I can do stuff for other people, because I didn't feel like I deserved to be looked after. Ooh. I didn't feel like, um I felt like one day I'll get to me. Like one day, I have to make sure everybody around me is okay. And then one day is a thing for me. I'm starting to realize. But one day, I'll be able to look after myself. Here I have I have an incision from my just below my rib cage all the way down to the top of my hoo-ha, staples in me and everything, and I'm still trying to look out for everybody else. And life and everything around me kept saying, "Sit down. Just sit down. Be still. Don't worry, we got you." And I was so used for always having myself. That's not saying I didn't have myself, but I was so used to always having myself and being that go-to person for everybody else. I didn't know how to be that same person for myself. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to just sit and be still and watch a show on TV. I didn't know how to do that. I would catch a show if like somebody was talking about it, or if I go by my mother's house and I would watch a show then. But like I wouldn't come home and be like, "Ooh, let me kick my feet up and watch." No, I didn't have time. I was too busy building businesses and podcasts and like pushing towards my dreams, hopes, goals, and aspirations. And life was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This entire year of 2022, is going to be your season of rest. And I fought with that thing. Oh, I fought with that thing. I had to literally tell my restless self, I literally had to say, if you don't sit down somewhere, y'all see how I choke? That's literally what I just laughed like, Why can't I sit down? Why can't I just be still? Like, why can't I just focus on me? Like, that's when I realized, like, the one person I wanted to love me my entire life was me. Everyone else around me loved me at a level that I was too blind to see because I was seeking what I thought in my mind was like, I just gotta be there. I gotta make sure this happens. I gotta make sure I gotta do this. I gotta take you there. I gotta do everything. And then it was just like, no, I just need to sit down. I just need to sit down, and this is giving me the time. You ever be like, man, I just wish I wish I could just sleep in today. And then there's like a snowstorm outside and they cancel whatever it is you're supposed to do. And now you have the opportunity to sleep in. But you ever realize that you don't sleep in? Because you done got up and made breakfast. You done got up and start washing. You done got up and start cleaning up your house. You just don't. When I said, I wish I had time to just rest and plan. That's all I said. I wish I had time to rest and plan. Now I wish like that I would have been given the option of like, okay, how do you want to do this? Because I sure as hell wouldn't have picked the level one trauma surgery. I sure as hell wouldn't have picked that. I would have been like, okay, let me just move some things around. But in doing that, I've been resting and I've been able to plan and I've been able to actually catch up on shows and like just spend time, like valuable time with family members. And um I kind of got in a way where it's like it's not hard for me to get back to it's not hard for me to get back to work because that's what I do every day. But I had to tell the workaholic goodbye. I learned work life balance. Ooh, we I learned work life balance. I don't work after a certain time. I know how to put my phone on do not disturb. Do not disturb is one of the greatest gifts ever. Um, I learned how to put my phone on do not disturb and actually stick to it. Sometimes I have to turn my phone off because like if somebody you have that one person or two people that like if they call, you have to like you don't have to, but you feel like you have to go. And so my mother is definitely one of them. Um, so she'll call and she'll be like, "Hey, could you take me to the store?" And I will immediately say, as a person that use their words, "I'm not getting out right now. I'm getting out later, and I'll be able to take you then." Or I'm able to be more vocal now, and um, not just vocal like but I'm able to be able to have clarity in my message of my emotions and how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And that's because I was more concerned about how everyone else would feel. And so I would never say how I felt. I would never say what I thought, or I would never like do. I would never be the person to be like, "Hey, I don't really feel like doing that right now. Could you get somebody else?" I would never be that person because I was like, yeah, let me go and take you. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, if I don't take you, then you going to ask 50 million people, and then 50 million, you're going to feel bad because you can't go. And then that's me. That's me thinking about stuff that I ain't even have no business thinking about. I had to tell myself that part of myself goodbye to. Caring above and beyond people, caring above and beyond for people who didn't even care above and beyond for themselves. You ever like saw somebody be like, "Oh my God, you are so talented. Oh my God." And like you start sewing into them and you start supporting them and encouraging them to do, you know, the thing that they love to do. They love to do it. They want to do it. Some people be like, "Oh, if I had the money, I need money, money, money." And then I'm just looking at you like, listen, all you really need is a plan. If we start telling more people to have a plan before they get the money, when they get the money, it won't be like, "Oh man, I mean, what happened was," no, we need to start telling more people to have a plan. So, in this time of rest, I've been able to plan, I've been able to organize. I'm going to test out some things on this week because, like I said, I've officially said goodbye to fear. Actually, I'm going to say it how I say it. I said, fuck fear. Fear has held me back for so long. And I'm not having it anymore. So goodbye, fear. I know people was like, I was telling people what I was going to talk about tonight. And they was like, the gift of goodbye. Oh, that's good because we be needing to tell people. I was like, I know when we say the gift of goodbye, we want to refer it to people all the time. But I be saying for me, it's emotions for me. It's emotions. When I started, like I really used to take everything personal. Again, I was somebody who felt abandonment from my parents, so I didn't want anybody to have any ill feelings towards me. I didn't. I would go above and beyond for people, even when I know these people did not give a fuck about me. I would still go above and beyond because in my mind I was thinking like, "Oh yeah, one day you gonna think about what I did, and then you gonna be like, oh yeah, she's a really nice person." And then I had to ask myself, why? Why do I do that? Knowing, I know. I just told y'all, I know that they don't care. And then I reeled all that shit back in. I reeled it all back in. And I just started paying more attention to the things that I do, the places that I go, the things that I say. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be a people pleaser. If you don't like me, you just don't fucking like me. I'm not going to lose no sleep. I'm not. And I'm looking at you right now. I can't say I'm looking at you in your eyes, but you hearing the sound of my voice. You shouldn't lose sleep either. If someone doesn't like you or someone can't appreciate you for being who you are, they don't need to be in your life. Goodbye. Exit stage right or exit stage left. Goodbye. I think we need to start having the conversations. We need to start teaching um, empathy. We need to start teaching communication. We need to start teaching people how to communicate because clearly there is a lapse in communication. I have literally, my friend sent me something and I just looked at that. So I'm looking at what she sent me. I'm looking at the stuff that's going on Facebook, and I'm looking at the stuff that's going on Twitter. I'm looking at all these different things, and it's like, what is the common theme here? Unalive. Another common thing, relationships. Another common thing, communication. And all of these different things I could see. I could see how, hey, if someone would have just been like, I felt this kind of way, things could have been different. If there was a conversation had I personally feel, this is just me. Again, my opinion is my opinion. Um, I personally feel a lot of things could get solved if people have the ability to communicate their feelings, if people have the ability to verbalize, put words to their emotions. I feel like a lot of things can be solved by that. That's just me. I feel parents shouldn't have to beat kids or discipline kids in a manner of physical abuse. I feel like they should be able to talk to them and tell them and help them understand what it is that they did so that they don't do it again. I feel like two people that are in a relationship, if they no longer want to be in a relationship, and I feel like if someone says, I no longer want to be in a relationship with you, that is when the other person that they are in a relationship with should have the comfortability in within themselves to say, okay, I get it, I understand, I'm gonna miss you, it's gonna hurt, I'm gonna be sad, and then the people should be able to go their separate ways. However, if you've been paying attention, it's been happening for a long time, but I'm just going to reference from 2020 until now. I have never in my life, and I'm 42 years old, I've never in my life heard so many unalivens because people no longer want to be in relationships with people. Go away. Go your separate ways. That doesn't, if you don't want to be with me anymore, I literally tell this to people that I date. Because this is what I do. I say, if at any point I no longer want to be with you, I will come to you and I will tell you. I'm not going to go out here and be with Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Susie, Rebecca, Tiffany, Amber, Dante. I'm not going to go out here and be with somebody else. I'm going to tell you first. I'm going to tell you. And once I know that you have a full comprehension of what I'm saying, I'm going to go over here and sit by myself and chill for a minute and figure me out. But we live in a society where it's normal for people to go out and do other stuff and record themselves while they doing it. Like, I be telling people the internet is a blessing and a curse. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a blessing because if you're doing business, if you're doing music, whatever it is you're doing, you can reach. You could go worldwide with just one post, with one video. You can go worldwide with that. At the same time, it's a curse because now we seeing things that we never would have been able to see at all. Goodbye, goodbye. I think about I think about the situation. I'm gonna say this, y'all, because it weigh heavy on me. Like first, I saw the video and I was just like, hmm, that's so sad. It's so sad. Like she was going there like I'm about to have a good time, and then it turned into something totally different. But here's the thing that gets me. Here's the thing that gets me. Her friends, and I'm saying that as her friends because that's what they were said to be. Her friends knew what they did to her. Allegedly. All of this alleged. I'm saying all alleged, so YouTube. Allegedly, her friends knew what happened to her in that Airbnb or whatever it was, flew back to the United States of America. Not only did they do that, they went to her mother's house. Her father said in an interview that he did, he said they sat down and ate at the mother's table. Her best friend of 5 years and two of the girls that was there sat down and ate at her mother's table. My stomach turned. I don't know. My stomach turned. How do you know what happened and you go and eat? My mind, I be trying to understand human beings sometimes. I be trying to understand. I thought when her father started talking, he talked. When I say he talked, you should go see the interview. I forgot the name. The guy that interview, his last name is Jefferson. He got on a blue jean jacket. If you see a thumbnail with a blue jean jacket and red roses, watch it. It's really good. So he said they sat down and ate. Brought her luggage back. Brought her luggage back, but didn't bring her back. I don't know. I was so perplexed by the whole entirety of it. And then another video came out. And then more interviews. Then it was like her autopsy report and all of this. And I'm just sitting here looking like, but y'all are friends? And then the other friend who came, he said a day later, was talking about what he saw when he walked in. And in my mind, I'm just sitting here thinking, you play soft music and you rubbed her head. Listen, if any of you ever go out of town with me, or if we hanging out and we go out of town, don't ever leave me in another country. Don't ever leave your friend, someone you say that is your friend, someone that you love. Don't ever leave them in another country. This is why her father said something that really was just like, that makes sense to me. Her father said the young man, Khalil, I think that's his name, Khalif, whatever his name. Y'all know the names. He said, you was my daughter's best friend for 5 years. He said, if you loved her that much, you would have stayed there with her, even after all what happened, and I would have made sure that you got back to the States. But y'all left her there and brought her luggage back. When he said that, I was just sitting here looking like, wait a minute, what? And then he said, he called he called her mother and told her what the autopsy report said. And the one was sitting right there. Her best friend of 5 years was sitting right there. And then he said all of a sudden he got sick. I said to myself, I said, they ain't making people like they used to. Whoever they is, they not making people like they used to. I don't know. I was getting so worked up. I was like, I'm good on social media right now because I'm good. How dare you go? You do some fucked up shit. I don't know what they did. I don't know. I wasn't there. I just know the stories that's coming out in the videos that I see. It was fucked up to me. So I'll say, how do you go and do some fucked up stuff and you know what the fuck happened? You know. You know. When the father said they gonna tell that bullshit story that it was alcohol poisoning, and then the boy gonna say he walked in and she had a knot on her. He said I didn't know that she had a knot on her head, a blood vessel busting her eye, and a cut on her lip. Now he told us that he did it on the live. He did it on the live, but let me tell you what really made me upset. Right, I don't know this girl from anybody. But it made me upset because I started to think about how many times do people be doing fucked up shit? How many times do you say you love somebody, that's your friend, that's your sis, that's your bro, and you allow somebody else to do some fucked up shit? And then he was like, this dude, when he broke it down to how long they known each other, and that was his friend, and he said, the voice that you heard, I said, I, I can't. Goodbye. Goodbye. I quickly. I love everybody. I do. I really love everybody. I love people that despitefully use me. I love everybody. I don't wish harm on anybody. But I tell you one thing. Anybody that can do some fucked up shit and walk around here like they didn't just do some fucked up shit, those are the type of people you have to stay away from. They do. I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm not a psychic or anything, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure everybody in that room, it was somebody in that room that was uncomfortable, but they didn't want to say nothing because maybe it will happen to them. But that's even in something we got to say goodbye. Goodbye to fucking being a part of the clique or the crew or whatever. I've never been that type of person. I don't give a fuck about what the clique are doing or the crew doing. I don't ride. I've never ride like that. I always been for the underdog. I would see people like even in school you see people bullying other people. Don't do that. Even at the expense of me becoming a target. I don't even fucking care. Her father said, you didn't even think enough that she has a mother and a father. Y'all just thought about yourselves and how y'all was going to spin this story and how y'all was going to keep on going. I'm sitting here listening. I'm like, oh man, I can see alcohol poison. You know, it's Mexico. It's I'm in my mind. I'm in my mind sitting here like, but then I'm hearing knots and broken necks and spines. And I'm just thinking like that was some pure hate. Pure hate. That was some hate. And that's why for me, I'm staying away from it. I'm talking about it right now because somebody needs to say goodbye. Somebody needs to say goodbye to people that you feel, on the innermost part of you, right up in here. They don't mean you no good. They don't. Even if you're in a relationship with this person, you know that they do not mean you any good. It is now time for you to say goodbye. I want you to say goodbye safely, though. Safely. If you know that you are in a space where you cannot say goodbye and be safe, call the people. What people, you may ask? The people that get paid to deal with unruly people. And I know it's probably like, we don't mess with them. At this point, you have survived a global fucking pandemic. You don't have to survive any of that anymore. Goodbye. If at this point they haven't loved you, y'all been together for 5, 10, 15, 20, 15, whatever number of years, and they haven't treated you right, nan one of those fucking years, it is time for you to go. You deserve happiness. Goodbye. Goodbye. It is 2022. You have survived for 2 fucking years. 2. And I'm saying survived. It is still fucking out here. People are still fucking catching COVID, RSV, monkeypox, Ebola, norovirus. There's a new paraflu virus. There's so many fucking viruses. It's like the CDC just opened up and was like, hey, whatever is whatever. Y'all deal with it. You survived all that bullshit to be like, oh, I'm going to keep living my life the same way. Nope, goodbye. Goodbye to bad habits. Goodbye to circles. Good fucking bye. Goodbye. Goodbye to excuses. Goodbye to fear. Goodbye to insecurities. Good fucking bye. You had a plan. How many of you know what a vision board is, right? You probably got a vision board sitting on your fucking wall and you look at it every day like, yep, one day I'm the one day queen. One day that vision gonna come to pass. One day. And you know how the only way that vision gonna come to pass is if you actually put in the work to do it. You want to be in a relationship where somebody loves you. You want to be at a job that fucking appreciates you. Goodbye. Tell that relationship, tell that job goodbye. That's that's all I'm gonna say is goodbye. You got friends. People we be friends with people. I literally like um on this journey of healing self discovery, I be asking people around me questions all the time. And I know they probably get tired of me asking questions, but then I say that. But at the same time, it gets people to think when people ask you a question, right? Think about your closest friend, right? This is an activity we can do together. Think about your closest friend. Why are you friends? I'm gonna tell you about my closest friend. Um, I don't call her my friend. I call her my sister. Actually, um, she's been on the channel before. When I was 18, we've been friends for forever. Right? When I was 18, I suffered a nervous breakdown, stroke, brain attack, whatever they want to call it nowadays, where I lost my ability to walk and talk. Now, I was pretty popular. I had a lot of people that hung out with me, and then again, I was like cashing. We go out, whatever. That was me. That was been me. That has always been me. As I think about it, I always make sure if you don't got it, don't worry, I got it. That was me. So, 18, nervous breakdown, lost my ability to walk and talk. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I got so many friends. Yeah, my friends gonna make sure I'm good. All of them. Only one person came. And when I tell y'all she came, she stayed with me. I had whew, cards, flashcards, so to read, to like stuttering, to get my speech together. I had a walker, a real life, like old people. I had a walker, and she like made sure I walked. Like she came and she stayed at my house with me. Got her own house. I think she had a baby by then. I don't know, but she had her own everything. She came and stayed with me to make sure that I was good. To this day, we still talk. To this day, we still converse back and forth. That's not just okay, that was a one time thing. Like anytime we've ever had anything, I was there for her, she was there for me. We've been there. Not just we just friends because we known each other for a long time. No, like we really care. Like we really care. When I went through the breakup, she came, let's laugh. We laughed. We had some. I love Popeyes. She got me some Popeyes one time. Then she got me some Mad Chicken. Mad Chicken is kind of good. We laughed. We joked. She like poured into me. She wasn't like, bitch, you need to stop crying and get over. Nope, nope, nope. She wanted to know what I was feeling, why I was feeling it, how I planned to move on. She wanted to know all of those things. She asked me the tough questions. She pushed me. She pushed me to where I am. When I think about my family, my community that's surrounding me, they loved me through everything I fucking went through, and they pushed me. They didn't ask me questions like, why the fuck you? No, 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 no. They were asking me questions about me. They were asking to make sure that I was okay. How was I doing? And I was saying, I love and respect my community so much because not one time did I have to hear anything negative about the situation, anything negative. People did say some really stern things to me, then it's the shit that I needed to hear that I knew. Like, again, I'm going to say it again. We know what the fuck we need to do. We know what the fuck we need to say. We know who the fuck we need to say it to, but we don't because we're more concerned about their feelings and we're putting everybody's feelings in front of our own. I'm going to tell you, if you're listening, if you're watching, it is 2022. There is like 40. Hold on, let me make sure I give y'all the right number because I don't want to give nobody the wrong number and they be like, she said there are only 42 fucking days left in 2022. 42. Do you want the rest of your fucking year to be like, let me let me let me get my New Year's resolutions. Let me get my vision board together. And you're gonna keep doing the same old thing. You're gonna keep doing the vision board and they're like, oh, it didn't happen this year. Maybe it'll happen next year. Now is the time to put action in, right? Action. You wanna have a $10 million fucking house, you have to do the work to get the $10 million fucking house. You can't just wake up and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the house. You got to put action in you. Even if you just put the action of getting in your car or walking across the street and buying a lottery ticket, it still requires work to be done. 42 fucking days before January 1st, 2023. I said to myself, goodbye fear. And when I said goodbye fear, I can't even say this enough. I don't know if y'all see like how ever since I said goodbye fear, and every time when I say I've been met with cases that things I really feared have come upon me, and I looked it dead in the face, and I'm gonna be straight, transparent, honest. It took me a minute. Like I told y'all, it took me a minute to go live on it took me a minute to go live on Twitch because I had to figure out the system. But it took me a minute to hit that go live button. And while I hit that go live button on TikTok, people came in, I sung, I ended. My goal was only 100 likes. I ended up with 2,600 likes on that video. And people stayed and watched me sing. And I don't know if you know, maybe you don't know, so I'll tell you. All of my entire fucking life, nope, not all of it. I would say since I was 12. Since I was 12 and the things that I experienced in my life, and I was telling everybody what was going on and nobody was doing anything, that caused me to feel like my voice wasn't valuable. Like, what the fuck do I need to talk for if no one is going to listen? So I hated the very sound of my fucking voice. Hated it. I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't sing. I would just be sitting in the background, just not trying to be seen. And then this year, with the blessing of level 1 trauma surgery, brought vocal polyps and brought voice therapy and brought an epiphany, an aha moment, and I began to understand why since the age of 12 I hated the fucking sound of my voice, because I meant to fucking talk. I know I said the F word in there a lot of times because that word brings me peace. It brings me joy. I found my voice. I found the power within my voice. So now I'm going to talk. I'm going to sing. I'm going to share whatever the fuck I need to share. I'm going to share it. You will hear it. You will see it. You will experience it with me while I'm going through it. Because y'all done experience a lot with me in these last 2 years, especially 2022. Especially. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for y'all still being here. I'm grateful for the love and support that y'all continue to show me. I am grateful. None of this could have happened if I had not said goodbye to fear. Thank you, Calvin Walker, for helping me to know that my alerts work. Thank you. I'm trying, y'all. I'm striving. I'm striving to be a better person. I said I want to be light, love, and positivity, and I fucking meant that. Let me tell you something about me. If you watch my channel, if you've been here at any time, I am determined. And when I set my sights on something, I won't stop. I can get it, and I still won't stop because I'll never be comfortable in knowing that I just got something. My objective before in these next 42 days, I'm telling y'all, so y'all gonna see. You're gonna see if you follow me on all social medias, you will see For the next 42 days, I will be sharing a smile, and I'm going to share a smile because I am grateful for 42 fucking years of life. I am grateful for being able to sit here and do a podcast that just was in my head, but I pushed past fear. I told fear goodbye, and I have a podcast. I have more than 50 episodes in this podcast. It started off as Sunday night dinner and convo, and then I said I need to make a podcast. So it's Nurturing Conversation podcast. So with the combination of both of those, I have more than 50 episodes. I showed y'all before. I have more episodes that I'm going to talk about. I'm starting. I'm not starting in the new year. I'm starting in December. I'm going to have the schedule of what I'm talking about. I'm working. I'm striving to be better. I didn't survive fucking COVID. Let me say this, right? I didn't survive. Like, I literally had COVID, almost died from it. I didn't survive COVID. I didn't survive a level 1 trauma surgery. I didn't survive a cancer scare. I didn't survive every fucking thing I went through in the last 10 months of my life, 10 and a half months of my life, for me to be sitting around twiddling my fucking thumbs. I didn't do that. And while I hate that it took a level 1 trauma surgery for me to realize it's time for me to release the documentary. It's time for me to release the music. It's time for me to do my TED Talks. It's time for me to share. It's time for me to encourage, inspire, and motivate, and let other people know you're not alone. You're not. I have a new series. I am going to start it in the morning. Shit, I wish somebody would have told me. I started doing Motivation Mondays because I was like, it's Monday. I kind of need some motivation. Boom. Let's do Motivation Mondays. I started saying, use your words. A lot of the shit that y'all hear me say in my videos, I say that to y'all, and I literally tell that to myself every day. I literally say light, love, peace, positivity, strength, courage, and wisdom. That's what I do. When I smudge myself every day, this is what I say. Light, love, peace, positivity, strength, courage, wisdom. Every day. Everything before I go live, I do my whole room. I smudge my entire house every day. But I truly, truly want to do nothing but be a light. I want to let you know the shit that you've been through. Yes, it was difficult. Yes, it was tough. But you made it. You made it to hear me. You made it to see me. You made it to see November 20th, 2022. Now, from this moment forth, it's time for you to say goodbye. Goodbye to people that we be knowing that people don't mean us no fucking good. We know that, but we give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not telling you not to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm telling you to put yourself first. Put yourself first. It's time for you to start thinking about you. Tell the old you goodbye. Welcome to the new you. People get so comfortable when they know that, oh, I could say this shit and they not even gonna care, or let's just loop her or him or in there. Let's just say they did it, and they know you're not gonna say nothing. People used to do that to me all the time. They know I'm not gonna say no. What I look like? No. To this day, I'm gonna let you know. 2020, I'm letting you know. Hey, that's not. It's a no. It's not cool. It's a no. Goodbye. I found power in saying goodbye. I want you to find power in saying goodbye too. That's all I got. Thank you all for being here, listening to my nurturing conversation. Hopefully you feel empowered to choose you and tell every fucking thing that is BS in your fucking life goodbye. Relationships. And I'm not just talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend. I'm not talking about any of those. I'm talking about family relationships. We need to talk about those too. If your family is treating you like shit, your mama treats you like shit, your daddy, sisters, cousins, brothers, you can set boundaries with them too. And I'm saying this as Thursday is the holiday. You know you don't want to be around your family. Don't go. Don't go. Go to a place where you gon' feel safe and feel loved. Go there. A lot of times we only go into our family house because that's what we do every year. That's we've been doing that for since we was alive. We've been doing that. Set a different tradition, especially if you are a parent that have kids. Set a different tradition. Start something new. Most importantly, make sure that you pass along empathy, communication, compassion for others. More if more parents hugged their kids or tell them that they love them or ask them how their fucking day went. I really feel like a lot of these unalivings that are happening wouldn't be happening as much. And I'm not blaming the parents. I'm saying more people need to love on each other. If you're your uncle and you know, like, oh, that's your nephew, go spend some time with them. I thought I went to my mom's. I went to my mom's today, and I hadn't seen Cam and Bobo for a couple of days. And soon as I walked in the door, they ran to me. It was so warming, like, oh my God, Titi. And Bobo just started no she say Titi. This is what I realized. That's how she get me every time. Kids. She say TT when she really wants something. She'll say TT. She'll come. She'll say TT. Oatmeal, TT. Water, and I'm just looking at her like, okay. If I see her and act like I don't hear her, she'll come in here. She'll go TT. She'll pat me like this and say TT. Water, and I just look like kids are they're so precious. They're so precious. I look at my nieces and nephews and the love that they have for each other is just like, I wish with every fiber of my being that they could stay that way. I wish that they could stay that way. And I wish for you and your children that they stay innocent, that they just love and understand love, that you show them a amount of love that no one in the fucking world could change their mindset that they are not loved, change their mindset that they are not wanted. Oh, I want that for you. If you're watching this and you are an adult or whatever age you are, I want you to know that you are loved. You are loved, you are wanted, you are appreciated. I know it might not feel like that, but listen, you are loved. You are loved. People love you. Sometimes they don't say it all the time, but they really do love you. You are loved. I know you probably feel like you don't have anybody, you don't have anything. You can always come here. Always. If you look down in the description box, that is every way that you can get in touch with me. If you ever just need to pop some shit off, just is in the description box. You should always have somewhere safe that you can go. Again, this has been my Nurturing Conversations podcast. Tonight's topic was the gift of goodbye. I hope that you will start saying goodbye. Goodbye to emotions, goodbye to people, goodbye to situations. Goodbye. You survived. Now it's time to fucking live. Just live. 42 fucking days. 42 fucking days and 2022 is over. And we're into 2023. When you get ready to do your new vision board or do your New Year's resolutions, actually put some action behind it this time. Think about it. 2 years. A year ago, we wasn't even outside. A year ago, we wasn't even outside. Last year, 2020, we didn't even know if we was going to be able to have Thanksgiving. We didn't know what we were going to do. I just want you to do different. Change it. If you've been having these feelings for years, I don't feel like people love me. I don't feel like they support me. Now it's time for you to do it for yourself. Choose you. That's all I got. Remember, it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short, or anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. So many times we love ourselves when we're doing good, when we got the good relationship, we got that new house, new car, the new clothes. We love ourselves. But we also need to love ourselves during our faults, in the midst of our faults, fears, failures, We need to love ourselves then. Also, know yourself. Know what is you and what isn't you. Trust yourself. You know that small voice? You know, people are like, oh, it's a small voice. Maybe yours is loud. Trust that because it's not going to lead you wrong. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. The world needs you to be authentically you. We don't need you to put on so that we can like you because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters the most is yours. The only person you truly want to love you, I'm gonna tell you why I say this because if you love yourself, there is so much shit on this earth you will not tolerate, you will not do, you will not let slide. You will be like, oh, fuck no. Love yourself. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, disinfectant, water, cash money. Set that aside because y'all been seeing what's been going on. We don't know. But you want to make sure that you and your family are okay. And if you are out here doing adult situations, please, for the love of humanity, wrap that shit up. I don't know if y'all saw it, but STDs are at an all-time high. HIV, AIDS, gonorrhea. I can go on and on and on. Y'all know what I'm saying. STDs, like real life STDs, herpes. All of these things are at an all time high. Protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. That's all I got. You know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is, I suggest you watch the Finger Sweetie because they will tell you. Until next time, I love you. I love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.